Hello everybody, welcome to the show. As in me, I just finished a shootout video. These rod and reels, and I thought I'd give you guys a little up on what I found out. What I found out was what I already knew about this one. If you guys remember right, I picked this up from Aliexpress, and this is a very good reel for the money, but it didn't have a BFS spool. I had to pick up the other one, the Billings, the black one, to get the spool. So it puts the cost around $80. So although higher than most, AliExpress BFS reels, and you can see I had a makeshift. Hopefully you guys can make out a whole lineup of the different links I had. Set up here to make it easier for me to go out and stand. I'm not going to show you the casting and all that kind of stuff, but I just wanted to tell you what this thing did with, and you can see I've got both the baits rigged up on, but I threw the 16th ounce, then the 8th ounce. If you make out the little rocks, that is about 40 foot. The stick, if you can see it, is 50. This thing will cast the 16th ounce, or just right close to 2 gram crappie jig. Past both those, it'll go about 65 feet, real close to 65 feet, or 65 paces of these oversized 12 cowboy boots. So it's probably just a hair over 65 feet, but we'll call it 65 feet. With the 8th ounce, I can actually go 81 feet. It'll make 81 feet, so not a lot further than with the 16th, but way, I guess, easier and no issues of backlashing. Which, the way I have it set up, I haven't had any issues of backlashing. It's hard to make out the dial, but it's 5, so 6 is right here in the middle, and somewhere just past 6 you can actually make out just the beginning. Let me get it in the light here. Is where I have it set. So the brakes are probably, and it only goes to like 10, so a little past halfway on the brakes is where it seems to like the 16th or an 8th ounce. And this is a 661 Cunning Teton Light, so you might be able to get a touch more distance with a little bit lighter rod. This is like an ultralight or the SUL, but for today's purposes I just wanted to get out here and try it. It's definitely, as of right now, I still like it. It's easy enough. I'll be able to crappie fish with it, or light, BFS for bass, that kind of thing. So I also got to try out, if you guys are watching, as far as the Conqueror lineup and what I think. This 6.6 medium Conqueror rod, I'm probably going to end up using either this Metanium on it or the Aldebaran 50. I still haven't decided yet. And it's probably going to be my jerkbait rod, just the action of it, and out here playing around with it. I know a lot of guys like 6'10" for jerkbaits, but as you guys know, I like lighter and shorter rods overall. So I'm thinking that's what I'll start out. Maybe even the lighter rattle traps. Hello, CS Fishing just commented. And also, if you guys, I don't know, everybody and their brother nowadays does have some sort of YouTube channel out. I don't really go around promoting everybody else, but if you want to give a shout out, whether it's in the comments of, you're following me and whatever. Oh, the fishing would be good, except also this is, hang on. This is Super Bowl Sunday, and I'll tell you right now, we're on over here in KC. Go Chiefs. All right, back to business. Come on. Yeah, you guys didn't know I had hair, did you? Fooled you. So let's get to what reel. That's not it. That's not the reel. Let's get to what reel actually won our shootout. I shot the jig, and it's gone now. It was actually the Pure Poison chatterbait that sucks anyway. But it's about a ½ ounce, and I was casting it. You guys probably cannot make out how far that is. I walked it off, and it's about 50 yards or just over 150 feet. That's the Corrado DC. That sucker goes about 10 foot further than the K, which is here, or the Scorpion MGL. What's funny is I also tested, I had all these on the 7'2". What we figured out today was that a 7'2", a longer rod, can get just a touch more distance, but you're talking maybe 10 more feet. I threw the 7'2" favorite rod, and I threw the 6'7" rod with the Corrado DC, and I got, like I said, about just over 50 yards with the DC on this, probably closer to 55 yards. But then only 10 foot shorter was the DC on this 6'7". So 6'7" compared to 7'2", and I only gained 10 feet on casting distance. So yes, a longer rod may give you a touch more distance, but I wouldn't try to just use these crazy long rods because you need more distance. Because I will tell you that, and I didn't know if it would or not, but this 6'10", which these other two rods are medium heavies, this is a heavy. That bait weighed just over a ½ ounce, and for whatever reason, that DC on this will throw it just as far as the medium heavy 7.2. Because when I put it back on, this is what I intend to use it for, on the 6'10" for, whether I'm flipping and pitching and throwing my heavier chatterbaits and rattle traps. This is just kind of my bigger, stouter, and I want the easiest reel to use. That Corrado DC is just that much easier to cast. Like, you've heard people talk about some of these are finicky. This thing, I guess I should finish up the story on those. But as far as finicky goes, this is the most finicky reel out of the three. And it's not a finicky reel, but I could go all the way down to 1 with that other bait, and it didn't have a skirt on it. As soon as I put a skirt on and back to its normal rod, that was on the 7'2", on the normal 6'7", I had to go to 2.5 to keep from backlashing. But the Corrado K, I actually had it set on 1, 2 internally. I had 2 of the brake pads on, 2 off, and on setting 1 with the non-skirted bait on the 7'2", it outcast the Scorpion. And I had the Scorpion the same way, 2 brakes on, set at 1, and it's only like by 4 feet or so. But I could not get this to cast as far as the Corrado K. But then when I put it back on, throwing regular bait like that, just practicing, I left it alone. I don't have to dial the brakes back up. I guess that's because of the MGL spool. So I guess it's a little overall more forgiving as the wind comes and goes compared to like the K. But the DC is it hands down is definitely the easiest and best casting out of those 3. So what does that tell me? That probably I see more DC reels in my future. But I wanted to give you guys a heads up on what so far and kind of what I'm out doing here on a Super Bowl Sunday. Oh, one last thing. Let's talk about line. I'm not a huge believer. Flip this thing back around. I'm not a huge believer in the whole 4 and 8 strand and all that. I do like. Can you guys just tell by looking? All of these have 20-pound on. So which one? One of them is a 4 strand, and 2 of them aren't. They're 8 strand. As far as casting, I can't tell a difference. The line coming in, this is cheaper, Hercules braid. Some of the higher end Power Pro Slick and all that go quieter through the guides. But as far as 4 and 8 strand, especially on the cheaper braid, I don't really see a huge difference in performance. This is actually the one. It has the Spectra 4 strand 20-pound, and these are Hercules 8 strand 20-pound. In case you're wondering, that reel casts just fine. Although I got a few more feet, I had to dial it back up once I put it back on this. But I'm not I can almost feel just a touch difference, but as far as performance, if you guys, I don't know, you guys comment below on if you, a lot of guys just don't like braid because there is a noise coming in and out of the guides. It definitely makes a noise. And this is also 10-pound test, 8 strand. And this, I have too much on. I just put the whole 100 meters, and if you guys have a Metanium 13 model, it won't hold the full spool of 20-pound braid. I need to take some of that off. But it casts fine. It just, you can tell it's a little too much. So you can kind of see I've color matched the Spectra. I don't know if you guys can make that out. It's pretty sunny. It actually feels almost hot out here. But that Spectra braid, red, their color red, goes real good with that Scorpion. If you guys have any of the maroon Scorpions through any of the years, although it's 4 strand, that is a perfect color of braid to go with those reels, if it's that sort of thing you're worried about. This is a Hercules red. There's also the Proberos, which is a lighter red if you want something like that. And then this is just I think this is Army green. I like that color of green. It's a little brighter, but I like it the fact I can see it. If you guys heard me talk about when I'm casting and I know the, you know, on light line, on a slack line, I watch the braid, use it like a strike indicator. If I see that sucker jump or whatever, you know you got to hit without even feeling it. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, drop in the comments down below. I got to get out of here. It's about time to go root for the Chiefs, and the only true way to root for the Chiefs is to drink you some Crisp Apple, Angry Orchard, Fireball. Take a shot of Fireball every time we get a touchdown. Probably end up drunk. So I'm out of here. Let me know what you guys think about the Shimano. So far, well, I call them Shitmanos sometimes. There's nothing wrong with Shimanos. I've never said there was. For a while there, I just called them, they weren't Daiwas, but Daiwas now are all pretty much Tatulas. So, yeah, I know, Chris, you know what I'm talking about. Until they come up with something else, I got to find a different brand. We're trying out Shimanos. And some of the Aliexpress stuff, which I will let you guys know. I'm testing out some of these Aliexpress reels. They are nothing compared to Abu Garcia, Daiwa, or Shimano. There's a quality issue there. Some of them aren't bad. The Hybo Steed is the only one I've actually truly just has a solid feel. Overall, I compare it to like a Quantum. Even your Quantums feel better than most of these Aliexpress reels. They just have a little more, not a crispness, but they just have, you know, a little, you can feel a little better build quality. Now, doesn't mean these Aliexpress reels won't last a couple years. And if ones with the shallow spools, you can cast, you can go, you know, with what I use BFS for, if you're using, say, 2 grams and heavier, no issues whatsoever. Probably last several years if they're aluminum frame. I'm trying some that are carbon, or I just call them plastic frames. Those will definitely wear out before aluminum. I'm almost 100% sure of that. Maybe they last for a long time, who knows. But I've always been a fan of Abu Garcia. I like the Daiwas. Daiwa still makes some good stuff. They're on that, I call it the Tatula kick, the TWS system. You might remember the T3s. Those were made out of plastic. They didn't last long, did they? They changed up. Some guys still love them. Most people don't like them. But look forward to further videos, testing out all this gear. I got to get out of here. Let's go, Chiefs. Whoa, smashed it.